Good evening. And I want to first take this time to say thank you to the staff of GLI for believing and investing in Youngstown. Give them a big round of applause. Before I go any further, I want to thank the citizens of Youngstown. I want to thank my sign language interpreter, Rich Magazine, tonight. The Dior Performing Arts Center and the Ford family for this beautiful facility. My mother Bernice is here. I want to thank you. My wife Lynette, my children Aaron, Michaela, Camille, Clarissa, Quentin, and my grandbaby Ariana. The City Club of Mahoney Valley, WYSU, Phantom Fireworks, and Huntington Bank for sponsoring tonight. Thank you both. D. Crawford and WKBN staff, I want to thank our veterans who have served this country, members of City Council who are in the audience tonight, and the hard-working staff of City Hall. Give yourself a big round of applause. The men and women, police and fire, who put their life on the line every day. And a special shout out to my brothers and sisters of labor. Thank you so much for all that you do. As I begin tonight, I want to ask the question, why not Youngstown? A place to raise your family, to start a business, a place to call home, obtain a great education, a place to be a model for economic development, and a place with great political leadership. I want to take a little time to focus on some of our challenges, some of our accomplishments, and what the future looks like for Youngstown. I ask the question, why not Youngstown? Of all of you tonight, many of you will have a varied opinion about why not Youngstown. I'm working to change the culture in City Hall within our 34 square miles and beyond the borders about Youngstown. Now it must be yes, Youngstown, yes, Youngstown, yes, Youngstown, in all that we do. I want to tell you a little story about this past year. An eclectic group of citizens, social, civic, and leaders, and elected and non-elected officials gathered on the steps of City Hall to reclaim our identity. I want to thank Derek McDowell for arranging and helping us focus on our future and redefining our identity. Thank you, Derek. That day, we buried Black Monday and declared a new day in Youngstown. The barriers that have plagued Youngstown have been our past reputation, our past identity, and overall view of how we saw ourselves. We must believe in Youngstown and our potential. We want the same thing as every other community: safe streets, nice neighborhoods, healthy communities, and healthy businesses right in our downtown, in our community. We cannot define our future until we see ourselves differently. We cannot be a vestige of shuttered mills. We have to decide what we'll become. It is up to us to think differently, operate differently, and begin to ask the question in all that we do, why not Youngstown? And of course, the answer is Youngstown. Yes, Youngstown. I want to tell you, Youngstown's open for business. You don't have to know anyone, be related to anyone, or pay anyone if you want to do business in the city. The only criterion for doing business with this administration is that you must be willing to improve the quality of life of the citizens of Youngstown. Youngstown has a rich history as being a city of resiliency and toughness. To survive during hard times, you have to be tough to produce 5 world boxing champions right here in Youngstown, Ohio. Now, the financial challenges, when I took over as mayor, the city was faced with a $2.3 million deficit in 2018, which required some drastic cuts and a new mindset of doing city business. The cuts had to be immediate and direct. We hired Micah Boozerhall to assist with turning around a plan to get Youngstown back on track and moving in the right direction. Listen, we realize the turnaround won't happen overnight, but we have been working every day, and we continue to work at it every day. We created a 5-year forecast focused on change of how we operate, changes that included staff reductions through attrition, retirement, combining and collapsing positions across all departments with cross trainings. It was great pleasure to have passed the budget for 2019, and I want to take this opportunity to thank City Council for helping pass our 2019 budget. Listen, we remain focused on cutting fat and not the muscle of city government, and learning to improve services with fewer dollars. I always say do more with less. The reality is that we face tough economic times, whether it's our flat revenue streams in the city of Youngstown, the uncertainty of Lordstown, and the closing of Northside Hospital. These are just a few examples of the financial uncertainties that will affect so many of our family and neighbors. More now than ever, we need to stick together. Youngstown, Warren, Boardman area, unemployment rate rose to 6.9%, one of the highest in Ohio. Now, crime and safety is one thing we must continue to focus on. Crime in Youngstown remain a focus point on a daily basis. Although we have seen some drops in statistical numbers, I still remain committed to fight and reduce the rate of gun violence on our streets. Over the last year, Youngstown Police Department seized and removed over 186 guns from the streets. Our officers responded to 69,500 calls for service where men and women of law enforcement had to respond and face potential dangers at each call. Thank you so much. We responded to 76,557 calls for service where our men and women of fire and EMS were needed to assist our citizens. And our community police have been active and engaged in attending 170 block watch groups and neighborhood associations. While out visiting and seeing organizations, I feel proud to hear the citizens when they know the name of their community police officers. And that will be a benefit to that neighborhood. We have some of the greatest men and women who are part of our Youngstown Police Department. 49 of our officers achieved above and beyond awards. Notably, the awards included 2 for valor, 10 for life-saving. And Chief Robin Lees remains committed to removing illegal guns from the streets and out of the hands of those in our community, specifically our young African-American men. We remain focused on giving our young men and women options of lifestyle that will lead away from a life of crime. That's why we remain committed to our SERVE program with Guy Burney. Thank you, Guy, for all that you do for this community. We have partnered with My Brother's Keepers, formed by President Obama's Foundation of Mentoring. On April 30th from 9 to 3, a conference for My Brother's Keepers will have 2,000 young men to convene at the Cavelli Center. The goal will be to provide mentoring and social services that can help or get our young men back on track. The men and women of our fire and rescue department of Youngstown, Ohio, are ranked among the top in the nation in fighting fires. Listen, in 2018, we had a total of 4,128 emergency calls for service, which included 215 residential fires, 15 commercial fires, 98 vehicle fires, and 905 first responder calls. Chief Barry Finley, along with American Red Cross, has instituted a program of installing free smoke detectors for residents who need them and creating a juvenile fire intervention program. Chief Finley has recognized the need for a city-operated EMS ambulance service. due to increased calls for service in the city. This has been a standard practice with so many other departments across the nation. And I asked the question, why not Youngstown? As I took over as mayor, I decided I needed to reach out to the neighboring cities, townships, and villages. We are striving to rebuild relationships where we do not have relationships and build relationships where our relationships have suffered. We have worked to create stronger relationships with the county, state, and federal entities, regardless of whether a Democrat or Republicans occupy that elected office. And I want to take the time to thank all of our elected officials and community leaders who are in attendance tonight. Thank you for attending. Listen, we go about our day and do a great job in City Hall, but never share the process and the results with the public. I believe it is essential that citizens know what we are doing with their tax dollars, and I am committed to share with the public. As a result, we have collaborated with the Youngstown State Communications Department to help tell our story to the public. We will create an electronic newsletter that will focus on what's happening in City Hall. You must know if you're paying taxes in the city of Youngstown. Thank you. We took a trip to Detroit this past year to study their blight remediation program. Although they are 10 times the size of Youngstown, Ohio, 650,000 people compared to our 65,000 people, guess what? They have the same problems and the same issues that we face. We learned that Detroit took direct action and focused on illegal dump sites, street light upgrade and replacement, and tire disposal. And once Detroit became intent on these efforts and shared their plan to clean up the city, there has been significant private sector investment, which has been a game changer for Detroit's turnaround story. The dump sites throughout our community. We've learned that we must be intent on targeting and focusing on cleaning and greening dump site areas. The use of technologies and cameras are just some of the tools that we are using to reduce the dump site areas. We have become more visible and focused on turning blighted properties into clean, green space. Over the last year, we took an aggressive approach to identify some dump sites throughout the city. We increased our blight reduction crew. Now we have a full-time litter crew that will be throughout the neighborhoods finding locations that need to be cleaned up immediately. Statistics say that once a location is identified where dumping is occurring, the faster we clean it up, the less likely the dumping will reoccur. As we tracked and addressed complaints throughout the city, we found that we had 776 complaints that include illegal dumping, property complaints, trash complaints, and community litter cleanup requests. When I talked to Detroit's Mayor Duggan, he explained that they began seeing significant economic development when the city became more focused on cleaning up the corridors coming into the city and in the neighborhoods. Now, this is my pet peeve right here, because I believe lighting is a true sign of reducing crime. We have focused on ensuring that street lights are on and operational throughout the city, and we have remained committed to upgrading to LED lights through our partnership with Ohio Edison. We have continued our efforts to improve the 422 corridor and connecting with our neighbors in Girard, Ohio. The lighting in our neighborhoods, freeways, and downtown are a priority. All of our lights are on our streets, and we should feel safe. We visited Chicago, Illinois, where they had LED lights on their streets, freeway system, and it was used to deter crime and improve safety. And I want the same for the city of Youngstown. If Chicago, Illinois can provide LED lights on their streets and freeways to improve safety, why not Youngstown? I want to thank Ohio Edison for your partnership to improve the lighting in the city of Youngstown. We recently started a conversation with Attorney General Dave Yost's office to deal with our tires and blight removal, where we are aggressively going after those who are selling and dumping tires in our community. We will make sure that the citizens no longer have to deal with the issues of tires being dumped throughout our community. We spend $50,000 a year for tire disposal and cleanup. That's several roads, Chuck, that we can be paving with that money. Thank you, Attorney General Davis Yost, for helping us in this endeavor. I truly believe when someone's coming to visit your home that you need to clean it up, make sure everything's in proper order. And the front door appeal is necessary when you are working on moving the city forward. We need to make sure our community is inviting and attractive to everyone who enters our city. We directed our efforts to cleaning, cutting back overgrown trees and shrubs along our freeway system. You only get one shot at a first impression, and we must make the great first impression for those who are traveling into our city to invest in a business, to raise a family, to visit a relative. Now we must concentrate on our main streets into our town, like Market Street, Mahoney Avenue, Belmont Avenue, and South Avenue, just to name a few. We want to thank ODOT for your partnership with cleaning and all of our freeway systems and helping us in getting the front door clean in Youngstown, Ohio. Now, potholes are an area where we strive to get better in delivering service to the community. We completed 1,286 requests to repair potholes on a total of 494 streets throughout the city. Ladies and gentlemen, we only have 982 streets, so just about half of our streets need pothole repavement. During storms and natural weather events, 72 trees were removed from roadways. The street department cut 5,701 vacant lots, a total of 3 times, for a combined number of cuts of 17,103 throughout the summer months. There was a combined total of 640 structures demolished in 2018 in an effort to remove blight from our neighborhood. Thanks, Mike Durkin, for all your effort to get us there. Under the leadership of the Commissioner, Kevin Flynn, the staff recently went through training in order to learn cutting-edge methods to treat icy roads, and also partner with Youngstown Mathematics Department to examine our current snow routes, which have not been updated in 30 years. You can't get better if you don't know where you're going. Thank you, Street Department, for being willing to become better and serve the citizens of Youngstown. Give them a big round of applause. If Detroit can see economic development, and they became intent on cleaning up the front door of their community and focused on removing blight from their neighborhoods, I asked that question, why not Youngstown? I want you to think we can do everything we need to do. The health of our community continues to move forward, and with progress, there were 0 safe sleep-related deaths in Mahoney County in 2018. Thank you, Aaron. Quite an accomplishment. Youngstown has achieved great strides when it comes to health and quality of life for our neighborhoods and our babies. Ladies and gentlemen, but the truth remains that we have a 40% poverty rate and one of the highest infant mortality rates in the state of Ohio. The fact that our African American babies are dying of a greater rate remains a concern of my administration. In an effort to spotlight and reduce infant mortality, My Baby's First Coalition has reached out to see how other communities have been seeing success in reducing infant mortality. My wife, Lynette, is a licensed social worker. So as the First Lady of this city, we took a trip to Chicago, Illinois, to explore new methods of reducing infant mortality. Goldie Stennis of the City Health Department and First Lady Dorothy Macklin of Holy Trinity Baptist Church joined us as well. In other cities, the First Ladies of the community worked to reduce and eliminate infant mortality. The ladies attended a First Ladies Luncheon in hopes of creating our own First Ladies Initiative chapter. If the First Ladies throughout the nation can organize a First Ladies Initiative in their community and see reduction in infant mortality, you know the question, why not Youngstown? There has been a progress for pregnant moms during and after pregnancy because of vision and passion for this community. The Eagle's Nest will open this spring and will be focused on providing pregnant moms with safe and stable home during and after their pregnancy. And I want to take this time to thank Gary and Lynette Frost for your vision. How about this? 2018, who could forget the world-renowned zombie raccoons, which my neighbor, Miss Gaddy, thought she saw one cross my yard, which made us an international news, and we were to talk around the world. But during my campaign to become mayor in this great city, I took on a challenge and I made a pledge to eliminate food insecurities. And as a result, we created a mayor's food policy initiative, which focused on reducing food insecurities and increasing the access to healthy foods throughout the city of Youngstown. We took a trip to Toledo, Ohio to study how they dealt with food deserts. They were able to establish a grocery store in a community where there was a lack of available healthy food. We have started the steps to seek technical assistance with local and national foundations of health. And we are seeking funding to bring in a retail expert to assist in establishing and securing a full-service grocery store. If Toledo can remove food insecurities in their neighborhood, why not Youngstown? I continuously ask that question, but at this time I want to say thank you to all my mayors, food policy members who are here tonight. Thank you for your forward thinking. At this time, I want to recognize a group that I've come to know over the last year. And it has been your dedication and your continued love for improving the lives of our senior citizens. And I want to take this time to recognize SOFA, which stands for Seniors Out for Action. And listen, ladies, gentlemen, if you're in your room, please stand. Where's my SOFA members at? If you ever get invited to their meeting, they have a great spread and a great potluck. There was some food that I have not had in a long time, but thank you for all that you do. During my first year as mayor, the need for a senior advocate for seniors became apparent fast. Since we realized that we needed greater connection to social services and greater understanding of what resources are available, we recently partnered with Area Agency on Aging, Ohio Living, Comfort Keepers, MyCap, and various other senior advocate groups to help assist our seniors when they come in contact with anyone in City Hall. The one story I want to share with you about one of our seniors, and she continuously sends in her bill for her water. She sends in a quarterly amount. We haven't been on a quarterly system for a long time to pay our bills. So it would be helpful if we have an advocate that can go out and help her and walk her through her bills so she won't get behind. And in the coming months, I am proud to announce that we will create a training curriculum for all city employees on all resources available for our seniors in Youngstown, Ohio. Listen, when companies from far and near look to invest in a city like Youngstown, they often look to see what the market predicts a return will be on their investment, but they also look at the political climate. Many are concerned about how the politics will affect their bottom line. If there's a cloud of corruption, or if the political climate is not inviting, the reality is that if the elected officials of this political leaders are not, if they're at odds with one another, the business don't want to be involved with that problem that already exists. They will typically shy away and find less toxic environments. Toxic environments don't attract investors. Teamwork do. That is why I believe on December 11, 2018, we received a $10.8 million U.S. Department of Transportation grant. I believe that we were successful in obtaining this grant because a team of rivals came together and put their differences aside and focused on one agenda. The grant will be truly a transformative to the city physically, and according to Youngstown State, it is estimated to have a $250 million economic boost over the next 10 years in this community. That's great for this community. I have to thank Congressman Bill Johnson and Tim Ryan, Senators Sherrod Brown and Rob Portman. Truly, we want to give a big thank you to U.S. Secretary of Transportation Elaine Childs and her staff for believing in this great place called Youngstown, Ohio. Give them a big round of applause. Secretary Childs, I can't wait for your visit to see our progress. We will be a shining example of what happens when you put your differences aside for one agenda that will benefit the citizens of a community like Youngstown, Ohio. I believe this is a model of what a healthy political climate looks like. When you have the City of Youngstown, Regional Chamber of Commerce, Eastgate Regional Council of Government, YSU, Mercy Health, WRTA, and private business partnerships working together for one agenda. Here I am asking you this again. If our friends in Akron can receive this grant 2 years in a row, why not Youngstown? Recently, during the winter session of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti spoke about his recent visit to Youngstown. And he talked about visiting YBI and our cutting-edge technology. The fact that we have a 3D printing right here in downtown impressed him. He expressed his admiration for OWOW Museum and its innovation. He talked about the visit to Starting Lineup, Barber and Beauty Shop, where Jerome Franklin is the owner. Jerome, your business is truly an example of what can happen with vision and investment. We love your recent expansion of the smoothie bar. I like the green smoothie, I'm just saying. And the spa, the spring pedicure, is calling my name. I want to take this time to thank you, Jerome, for your investment in downtown Youngstown. On the south side of Youngstown, in the uptown, you can stop by Flambeau's Live to get a conversation and enjoy authentic Caribbean foods. I especially love the smoked chicken wings. I'm just saying, that's what I like. And it is also the home of Coffee and Conversation with 6th Ward Councilwoman Anita Davis. You never know which city, county, or state, or federal official will stop by for coffee. Sandy and Josh were selected as the first business to receive the City of U Business Spotlight, where we recognize them on Small Business Saturday. I want to say thank you, Sandy and Josh, for all that you do for this community. I want to take this time to thank Fireline for your dedication and commitment to this community. Not just this year, but you have a 20-year strategic plan for the future of your company to remain right here in Youngstown, Ohio. Thank you, Roger and Gloria Jones, for your long-term commitment to Youngstown, Ohio. Give them a big round of applause. How about this? For the first time in over 40 years, we have a premier DoubleTree in downtown Youngstown. Which is the home of Bistro 1907, a 5-star restaurant. It has already proved to be a magnet for YSU event days, conferences, and Cavelli concert goers. We talk about the health of our community. The enrollment of Youngstown State University continues to grow, and the need for student housing continues to spur economic development around the campus. Mercy Health continues to grow and invest in this community with the new and exciting state-of-the-art health center on YSU campus, which was overwhelmingly voted on by the students. But this will be another opportunity for all of you in this room who need access to health right there on YSU campus. Give them a big round of applause. How about those Gators? Eastern Gateway Community College continues to grow its student population as well as its footprint in downtown campus, where the school will open a new student learning center in the heart of downtown. And I want to take this time to congratulate you on 10 years in downtown Youngstown. Give a round of applause to Eastern Gateway Community, 10 years. Youngstown has become the regional attraction for all parts of the valley. The Covelli Center remains the place to experience national acts right in the heart of the city of Youngstown. This June 2019, the excitement will elevate when the Youngstown Foundation Amphitheater will open. I can't tell you what act yet, and I do know. Not only will there be national acts, there will be local acts that will fill the seats and attract people from near and far. We have not had a strategic plan in over 30 years, which would go back to the days of Mayor Patrick Ungaro, who is one of my mentors, and I always call him and ask him when I get a certain situation, and he's been so helpful. The vision and civic engagement will take all of us in this room to come together, moving in the same direction, getting involved in order for Youngstown to continue to define ourselves. When I say involvement, that's like my friend Ken Greco of the Southside Recycling, who not only opened a business on the south side of Youngstown, but he has become involved and engaged with the neighborhood where his business is located. And much of his efforts have come out of his love and his passion for the place where he does business. And he is now a prominent stakeholder in that neighborhood. Thank you, Kenny, for your love for your neighborhood. Give him a big round of applause. I know many of those golden bears in the room looked at my tie and my ensemble tonight, and you said, we almost got him converted. But I could not end the night without acknowledging the young men of East High rugby team. I said rugby team. Your victory was truly an example of what happens when you put your heart and your mind together to do something no one had ever done. If everyone could win a state champion in rugby, guess what? Why not Youngstown? Give you a big round of applause to our young men of the rugby team of East High. I get a little nervous when I go over 85, but I want to congratulate Tom and Ryan Martino on becoming the 2018 Professional Drag Racer Association World Champions. They're from the south side of Youngstown. Listen, we know the problems. We just need to come together and tackle these issues head on. Mayor George Voinovich, when he became mayor of Cleveland, the river was on fire. They were facing bankruptcy. The 9th largest city in the United States was on their ropes. They were ready to fold up and turn in and say, we can't do it anymore. I think about that when I think about Youngstown, Ohio. We got tough times ahead of us. But what the mayor did, he solicited the involvement of private sector to help the city of Cleveland with the turnaround plan. And I'm asking that same thing of you in the house tonight today. If Cleveland could put their differences aside to get the city on the right track, I ask that question. Why not Youngstown? John F. Kennedy said it best when he said, let us not seek a Republican answer or a Democrat answer, but the right answer. He said, let us not seek to fix blame on the past, but take responsibility for our future. I believe that GLI gave me something to think about when they start thinking, why not Youngstown? When I went to the company, I just went to their founders luncheon, and I didn't know what to expect. I met some great people. I learned some great things about their company. And at that time, the last thing they handed me was a shirt. And it says, "Why not Youngstown?" And that stuck right here in my gut. If everywhere else can do business, and Gary Crandall could be anywhere, he said, "Why not Youngstown, Ohio?" Ladies and gentlemen, as we put our differences aside, as we look at the tough times that are ahead of us, all of us is in this room, we can make it happen for a place like Youngstown, Ohio, where people will come and say, "I want to see what Youngstown's doing." We don't have to travel anywhere to find out the best practice. We can be the best practice. I want to say thank you. God bless you. God bless the city of Youngstown. And why not Youngstown, Ohio? Thank you.